won't lie and use the system.
Right.
They the victim. That's what they always come to the system with. I'm the victim. Somebody did this to me. Somebody did that to me. I don't think it's impossible, but I'm just saying, if you got to know who you with. And if you're not smart enough after you get a domestic, if you're not smart enough to have somebody around you that really got your back, you know what I mean? Because like we were talking about earlier, once the thing starts where a phone call is made, it's up to the police what happened anyway. It's not up to the woman what happens anymore, Police show up, they'll take you to jail. You got to be smart who the fuck you got up under you. Men and women. Can't just have anybody up under you.
That's right, but he could have thought he was making a smart move. We have another caller. Go ahead.
Phone call from Philly, son.
What's up, John?
Yes, this is John from Philly.
What up, man?
Hey, nothing much, my brother, but I just wanted to speak to what you were saying. I've got a situation, and the courts are biased against men. I definitely feel like it's about money. Now a little bit about my situation. My wife, she's having an extramarital affair. I can't prove that, but all the signs point in that direction. She gets off work at 5 o'clock. She's never home before 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. She comes home. She's drunk. I'm not a drinker, never have been. That doesn't make me an angel, but alcohol has just never been my thing. My wife comes home drunk. We get into it. I call the police. The police come to the house. They tell me what I need to do. Oh, by the way, my hands are all scratched up because she wants to fight. So I'm trying to restrain her, keep her away from me. Police get there. My hands are all scratched up. She doesn't have a mark on her. They tell me I need to file a protection for abuse. I'd never been through this, so I don't really understand the situation. But once I found out that meant she would be restrained and she couldn't come to the house, I have 5 children. I'm saying, hey, I don't want this to happen. So I don't file this. I literally leave the house, this is in the morning, to go pay the mortgage and the gas bill, one of the other bills. I don't know what it was. But she, in turn, goes to the police and do what they told me to do. I return home to the house. She leaves with the kids. I realize that the house is empty. I don't really know what's going on. But 10 minutes later, knock on the door. It's the police. They give me 10 minutes to get out of my house. I'm a musician for my church. Now I need work clothes, I need my instruments, and I'm leaving my house. Well, long story short, I'm given a court date. That court date is 6 weeks away, so I'm out of my home for 6 weeks. My oldest child at that time, my wife had 2 when I met her, but my oldest child at that time is 9 years old. I have 3 by my wife. I've never been away from those children any longer than 3 days. We go on vacation. We got a house full of kids. I figured 3 days, we got to go home, check on the kids, because my mama, her mama, nobody can take care of my kids like we can. So I'm saying that to say I've never been away from my children, but because of this situation, now I'm away from my children. It's 6 weeks I don't get to see my children. I go to court. I win the domestic violence case, so I have the right to return home. I wait another 2 weeks before I go home, but under the advice of a lawyer, he says if you don't go home, then your wife can say you abandoned her. So I go home. The same day I go home, my wife moves out of the home. While I'm at work, she empties out the house. I get another court date, go to court. They give me 10 days to vacate the premises because they say the children need a place to live, which I understand. But again, this is a woman who is infidelity. She's coming home drunk. She's not coming home at all sometimes. Nevertheless, I have to vacate the premises. Long story short, 47% of my wages have been garnished. I make $900 a week. Because of the 47% garnishment and the health care benefits and other stuff that I pay, out of $900, I now bring home $249 a week. I am 58 years old, and now I'm living back at home. I'm living in my father's home because I cannot afford to put a roof over my own head. So, and then I get to see my children, these children that I'm never away from. I get to see them every other weekend, which turns out to be every 12 days. It is a nightmare. It is an ongoing nightmare. As a matter of fact, I even have pictures of my wife with the man she was cheating on me with. I wasn't even out of my house 2 months, and he was already living in my home. He now lives in my home with my wife and my children. I send her $1,200 a month, which comes up to $14,000 a year, and I can't even afford to put a roof over my own head. I lost my house. I lost my children. I lost my finances. I lost my cars, and on and on and on and on. And it all comes down to money. I'm paying lawyers. I mean, literally, I'm standing in court with tears running down my face saying to the judge, Your Honor, how am I supposed to live? How do I survive? And I had a lawyer who specialized in men and fathers' rights, and he told me, you can go to court, Mr. Ward, he said, and you can prove that your wife is a crackhead whore. And he said, and you still only have a 12% chance of winning custody of your children.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you grow up in, like, the suburbs or the inner city?
I grew up in the inner city.
Let me explain something to you, and everybody who's listening to this story that the brother just gave us. If you go by the rules, you are going to lose. If you go pay lawyers, if you do things that the courthouse and the laws tell you to do, it's set up where you die with nothing. The only thing that you have going for you is the motherfucking streets. And people may think I'm joking when I say this. If you don't have it in you to put some dope in that bitch car, if you don't have it in you to basically set this motherfucking woman up where basically she should not be legal to have children and stuff like that up under her, you will live this way.
My brother,
and that is the truth. And I know it don't sound right, and I know people may say, Corey, you wrong for telling people to do wrong, but wrong is being done to this man where you work, and he's at an age where you want to be up under your children. This man, you'll die from hypertension and being sad if you allow yourself to live this way. You got to put the streets on that bitch. That's just real. I'm sorry. You got to realize it's a no-win situation for you. There's nothing that the courthouse or anybody can do. The law is set up where it works that way. You're going to pay because she beat you to the police. The only thing you can do is make it where it's countered where she did something worse than you.